Okay, here are the answers. So the first one is a hydrogen, and we said it was H2O for water, so there are 2 hydrogen atoms. And again, oxygen we know has got 80 electrons. 80 electrons, so these are 2 hydrogens, so I should put that on, and there's a H. This is oxygen. Oxygen has 8, which is 2, 6, and I'm just going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to do the outer electrons again so we don't get confused. So there's my before picture. You should have the same picture drawn. If you haven't, work out why haven't you got it, and draw the correct picture in place. Now this to overlap is going to do this. You're going to have your oxygen in the middle, and you can see that oxygen is 2 electrons short from being stable. It needs to have 8 to make this 6 become 8 and become stable. The 2 hydrogens both have 1, so they can share 1, and that's going to help it to become 8. So the way it does this is by this. So 1 electron there from this hydrogen, and this shares 1 of its electrons, and then this says I'll put 1 of mine in, and this one shares 1 electron, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put the nucleuses in, and there is water, which is H2O, and if you're drawing it as a stick diagram, you would have that, okay, H2O. So that's a water molecule, and the water molecule has got 1, 2 covalent bonds inside its structure. That's the first one. Second one, carbon and hydrogen. Carbon and hydrogen makes methane, and I told you at the beginning that the formula for methane is CH4. So what's going to happen here? Well, we're going to need 4 hydrogens. I'm going to do those as dots. 1, 2. Put another one here. 3, 4. There's my 4 hydrogens. Then I'm going to have a carbon. Now carbon is 6 electrons, which is 2, 4. Just do the outer ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my 4. So when these bond together now, you can see that carbon is 4 electrons short from being stable. Each of these has got 1, which it can share. So these 4 sharing with these 4 is going to make this have 8 electrons. Let's put the nucleus in. So here you go. Here's my carbon in the middle. There's the nucleus. And I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one here puts 1 in, and the carbon shares 1, and this puts 1 in, and the carbon shares 1, and this says I'm going to put mine in, and the carbon shares this one, and this one goes in, and the carbon shares this one. There's the nucleuses. So this is now methane, CH4, and you've got carbon bonded with 1, 2, 3, 4 hydrogens. So there are 4 covalent bonds in that structure. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is oxygen. Oxygen's a tricky one. Oxygen's a tricky one because we've been looking so far at single covalent bonds. And if you look here, oxygen, we've already seen in what we've been doing today that oxygen is 2, 6, so it's got 6 electrons in the outer energy level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're going to have 2 atoms to start with. So 1, 2. Oh, let's do these as circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's my dot and cross diagram. 2 oxygens, 2, 6 in each. When these overlap, let's do this one quite big for you. When they overlap, what's going to happen is this one is going to share 1 of its electrons, and this one therefore has to share 1 of its electrons. Now if that happens and these all go on as normal, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's those 2, and this one goes here, and then here you've already shared that one, so I'm going to get 1 here, and then I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. If I cover that over, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's not enough electrons there. So if they only share 1 each, this is not going to work. And if I just test it on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's not enough electrons in there to make this stable. So what has to happen, if I just draw it again underneath, okay, we've already said they're going to share 1 each, but what's going to happen here is they're actually going to share this one and this one as well. So they're going to put a second one in each. So let's draw 1, 2, so it's got 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and then here you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my diagram for my electrons. If I cover this over now, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's got a share of 8 electrons. That's now stable. And here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's got 8 electrons. The way this looks, go back to the very beginning, we said that sharing a pair of electrons is one covalent bond. This has now shared 2 pairs of electrons. This is 2 covalent bonds. So I draw it with 2 bonds, and there's my second oxygen. So that's how it looks. Oxygen double bonded to oxygen. That is a molecule of oxygen. Formula O2. And the final one on your sheet is carbon dioxide. And you've probably worked out that if we use the same idea, so if we do the same thing we've just done, okay, same thing we've just done, we've got carbon dioxide is CO2, means we need 2 oxygens, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll have 2 of those, just the outer electrons showing. And then I've got my carbon, which is carbon, it is 2, 4, so there's my oxygen. Carbon over here is 2, 4. Let's draw my carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my carbon, okay, sorry, it was on, there you go, carbon 2, 4. So what's going to happen now is these are going to overlap with the carbon. So if I draw my carbon in the middle, there's my carbon, and I'm going to put my oxygens at either side of that, so 1 there and 1 there, okay. What's going to happen now, if I just slide this across a little bit, is the oxygen is going to share the 2 electrons that are on their own. So this oxygen is going to share those 2. So if I put 1 there and 1 there, and this means that carbon has to share 2 to make that work. So 1, 2. If this oxygen is sharing 2, then there's 2 pairs, 4 electrons in total left over. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on this side, we do exactly the same. So in here, these 2 electrons are going to be shared, 1, 2. And this carbon shares another 2, 1, 2. And then the other electrons that haven't been shared go on 2, 3, 4. There's nucleus, there's nucleus, there's nucleus. If you check now, this one here's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got a stable arrangement. The carbon in the middle has got 2 lots of 4, so it's 8. And then on the far side here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So again, you've got 4 electrons being shared. 1 pair is 2 electrons, and that's 1 covalent bond. So here again, you've got a double covalent bond, so it's carbon in the middle, double bonded to oxygen, and this side double bonded to oxygen. So it's got a double covalent bond in the molecule, and that is a molecule of carbon dioxide. Formula CO2.